All right, guys, our next card is a really simple, but I love this card so much, so I hope you're going to love it too. We are going to use a card base that is Cajun Craze. I am going to take my very vanilla panel and I'm going to stamp on this with the big wreath. Now, here's the deal with the big wreath. It doesn't fit on this block, and so that means you'd have to have like the big background size block, which is very annoying. So instead what I'm going to use is my Stamparatus, because it is much easier to work with. So I'm going to bring this in here. And whenever I'm working with my Stamparatus, I like to position my cardstock kind of out in the middle because I feel it stamps better that way. I'm going to position my stamp right where I'd like it. We'll pick that up. Ooh, I've got some ink on here. Let me see if I can clean that off. At one point, I had a wet wipe that I was using. Here's a towel. Just because I know I'll get it on me, and then that'll be bad. Okay, so I've got this on here. Now, I always line it up with like a line. So here's the line on my mat. And yes, we're good to go. Now, on this one, what I want to do is I want to stamp it off first. So I'm going to grab a scrap of paper. I'm going to fold it in half. And I will use this to stamp off the first layer of ink. I'm going to stamp it in crumb cake. So I'm inking that up. And I'll place this down right here. Okay. And then I can't even help myself. I'm going to huff on this. That just kind of remoisturizes or remoistens. I don't know. I know everybody's like cringing at me even saying that, but here we go. So hopefully, voila, a nicely stamped off panel. Okay, I'm going to save this because we're going to use it again. All right, so that looks great. Now what I'm going to do is I want this to be a fall card. So I'm going to use the fall leaf, which is right here. And I will stamp this in Cajun Craze as well as in Bumblebee. Okay, so we'll take and I'm going to do the Bumblebee first. I'm just going to kind of go around my card, skipping some space because we're going to add another color of leaves in here, just like that. And I'm going kind of in all directions. I know that didn't really show it very well, but we want these leaves to be kind of in every little direction. Okay, so now I'll do my Cajun Craze ones. So I'm sort of tipping these in different directions. Yeah, that was better. Like so. And then I really was like, okay, that looks good, but it's a little plain. So I wanted to add a little bit more to it. So I decided to take the heart and I'm going to ink the heart with some cherry cobbler ink, but I only want one heart. So I'm just going to eyeball this. You could also use a Post-it note if eyeballing it makes you uncomfortable. And I'm going to stamp that heart in here. And I love what this does. It just kind of adds an extra little layer of color and stamping into this really pretty card. So I'll put one more there. Okay. So I think that looks pretty awesome. And that was so easy, right? Okay. The next thing I want to do is stamp my sentiment. We'll do that in Early Espresso. You could do soft suede, kind of any neutral color. I didn't want it to be crumb cake because I wanted it to show up. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center. Okay, next, I'll adhere this to my layer of cherry cobbler. And then I'll take my linen thread and I'm going to wrap this around my card a couple of times. So I'm going to leave a little tail so I can tie a knot, maybe like 3 inches or so. Then I'll wrap this around 3 times, kind of arrange things so I've got my layers on here nicely. And we'll tie a little bow. The last part, and this card is just so easy. The last part is very simple. We're going to take and embellish with some of those enamel dots. And this is what kind of, I think, takes this card from cute to like awesome. So I'm going to use the cinnamon cider ones, and we're just going to stick these down in a few spots. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of alternating the inside and outside of my wreath, just so we get a nice even distribution of them. And I'm going to use quite a few, but it's just so cute. And I think we need one more kind of over here. All right, so that looks awesome. We'll pop this whole panel up onto our card, and then it will be good to go. Now you could definitely take the concept of this card and apply it to the other stamps in this set. So there's Christmas, there's Easter, there's Valentine's. Just alter the colors and what you're stamping on that background wreath. So, oh, I love this one.